Welcome back to This Week in Rangers Nation. I am thrilled to have the head coach of the Kitchener Rangers join me once again here in studio, Jussi Ahokas. Thanks for coming down and spending some time with us.
Oh, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
It's good to have you back here. We've had some fun in this studio, right back from when we shot our home opener intro, our little Slapshot parody. But I want to ask, we just had the 50th game of the season for the Rangers, 18 games left in the season now. This team seems to be getting better. And I know that's what you want throughout the course of the season. So why is the team getting better as the season goes on?
I think it's the daily work. Like, we have to what we want. Like, we embrace it. That every day matters, and you have to show up, even though you don't. It's not always fun, but the guys are having a good time. But we practice hard, and every day matters. That's kind of our approach. We go day by day, and we don't really look at the standings, or we look at their game, and we try to get all the time that every player gets that 1% better every day. And all in all, I would say, like, of course, we've added some players during the season that helps a lot, of course, but I would still say it's more about the culture and how we do things with our team.
I think it's probably going to be a source of pride when I tell you every time I talk to a player about why the team's doing well, they talk about the culture and they talk about the way that the coaches want this team to be and why everyone's succeeding. The one thing I've noticed about this team, generally in hockey, you're going to beat the teams you're supposed to beat, lose to the teams you may think you should lose to. But then there's all those games in the middle. Maybe a bounce this way or a hot goaltender, all those close games. You win or lose some, whatever. Maybe that's 5 games, maybe that's 15. You seem to almost always be able to win those close games. Why do the Rangers have an edge when it's so narrow like that?
Of course, big part, we have good goaltending. That's for any winning team, that's a huge issue. But all in all, like, the guys want to win. They have bite. They want to work hard for the team. They want to play for each other. I think those are the big things. What add up, and we don't quit.
You've talked about how strong your goaltending is. I want to talk about Jackson Parsons in a minute, but we're coming off recently a 15-round shootout. How stressful was that for you as a coach before I even ask you about your goaltenders?
No, it's you don't want to be a part of that. It's well, it was a coin toss in the end. Like, who will score? But Schaubel did a great job there.
He did. I talked to Jason Schaubel's parents last night about that game, and I said the worst job in the world is goaltenders' parents, but I can't even imagine goaltenders' parents in a 15-round shootout. When you think about that game, Coach, though, and I thought, maybe there's a couple of positives that come out of this, because is there kind of a positive, a bright light for you that you get Jason Schaubel some shootout experience that he didn't have yet in the regular season, and maybe also you get to tap the shoulders of some guys that you wouldn't normally tap in a shootout and see what they can do.
Oh yeah, for sure. Almost everybody got a chance. Not few didn't, but yeah, it was a good game. We came back. We didn't start well, or kind of they got the special team goals, and we got back and still on the road able to get 2 points. So that was good. But yeah, for Schaubel and all of them, we have a young team, so all of those experiences are good for our boys.
So it's been told to me that regardless of the weather, you take a 5K jog before every game day. Does that happen right before game time?
6.
6.
I
didn't want to undersell. My apologies. Fact check.
Yeah, I do.
Even in the snow, we've had some terrible games, and you're coming back and having a jog.
It's normal weather. It's just how you dress.
How close has this winter been to Finland? Weather?
It's actually a pretty good winter right here. I don't really. It's normal.
Doesn't bother you one bit, does it?
No, normal winter.
Let's talk about your goaltenders now, because Jackson Parsons, you and I have talked about this multiple times, and I appreciate your candor and how you always want to give the praise well deserved to Jackson Parsons. He's the best goaltender in the league, but there's a heavy workload. He's playing a lot of games. What's your mindset in terms of how often Jackson Parsons sees the net for the Rangers?
It's like he's playing around the same amount with all the other teams' number ones. So I think if you want to build a good goalie, like, they have to play, and it's also their development that when you have a situation that you have a straight number one, that they have to be able to play, even though it's not physically. I don't say that's not the problem with Parsons at all. Like, it's more for all that they're mentally ready to play and get that mental side and that aspect of the game. And it's also for him, it's a challenge to be at that level. And we knew before season that we have, and he started okay. I'm saying the first five games,
Yeah.
but 5, 7, 8 games. But he's an overager, and this is the time he had the capacity to play even better. And we challenged him, and he's taking that step. What do you need if you want to be elite goaltender and his goal and go forward to his goals? And he stepped up to the challenge, and really happy about him. But I'm not really concerned about it's the mental side. That's the biggest part.
And that's where I'm going next, because even before you came here, Coach, Jackson had a great mental game, especially dealing with the injuries that he dealt with in the past. And I'm seeing that mental game applied right now as well to Jason Schabel. I know that he would love to play more. He's never been the backup goaltender, but I think that kid is really, really strong mentally too. What can you say about Jason in terms of how he's handled his role on the team this year?
Well, he knows this, and he'll get games still. Like, it's his first year, 16-year-old year. Jordan Decourt, our goalie coach, does a great job. A lot of extra work, and kind of we've set a schedule for him and how he works and how he does, and it's all for him. It's getting used to the league and all improvement, because it's not an easy part to be a 16-year-old goalie and play. And it's different also when you're in a high-end team. Like, it's just expectations. Expectations are different. But he's done well, and he's getting better all the time. And really happy he played a good home game against Owen Sound, and he looked really good. That usually the next game is the hard one when they play the young guy. 16-year-olds usually don't play 2 great games in a row, and that's where he got his shootout win. So we're gonna go in. He's going in a really good direction on his game.
Yeah, I'm excited for the future for him. I know that there's always we spread the love among the coaching staff, and you do that a lot. You give so much credit to Jeff and Brad and everybody that works with you, but I want to specifically highlight Jordan. Like, how impressed are you with the work he's done with these 2 goaltenders this year?
Really good. And he does also a lot of our videos. So it's the whole coaching staff, all of us 4. And we're a team, and we work together. And that's how I think you get the best out of everybody. Like, when we're a team, and it's not my show, it's the whole coaches, and then the players involved. So we play a team sport, and of course there has to be a leader who kind of looks, but everybody has their big role, and everybody tries to do the best they can, and then usually the result is good also.
Coach, the day that you and I met, it was almost 2 years ago now, the day you got announced as head coach, we had our interview in the room. You told me about your mindset, what you wanted to see for the team, and you're kind of checking all those boxes off in this second season here, but you told me about the concept of Sisu. That was what we talked about. I've seen some games this year where I'm like, that's what he was talking about. Are you seeing it more and more this year?
Oh yeah, you need bite, you need grit if you want to play this game and if you want to win. Like, that's what you need. And we made some changes, of course, from last year to this year, just overall with our players, but players a year older again. But you need that grit. You need that grit if you want to win, and anywhere in life you need perseverance, and you have to have that fight back, and that's just that's the mental aspect of the game.
Part of the mental aspect of the game as well, you talked about not worrying about the standings and not worrying about who the opponent was, whether it's a team in first place or a team in 10th place. How do you get the players to buy into that? And maybe also, they seem to sometimes play the same way regardless of what the score is. If they're down 3-0 or if they're up 3-0, I often see the same level of effort out there. How do you get them to play that way?
No, well, you have to understand, like, we play we want to, like, the standard how we play. That's what we're looking for, and we want to get that standard higher and higher. And then you don't watch, like, it doesn't matter who's against you. Of course, some teams, like I would say London with the 14 NHL draft picks, of course, that's a different challenge. But still, like I would say, Guelph games have been really hard for us. They work hard. They're a hard-working team. So you have to have your concepts and systems, and all in all, your effort has to match. And it doesn't really help winning London once, or whoever would say what's a top team and getting 2 points, but then you miss the 2 points from other team just because you're not trying. So we more look at what we do, and how we practice and how we play, rather than looking at the standings and seeing, okay, we're there right now.
And as someone who sees it all the time, it's noticeable. Like, you can see that they're playing. I see how hard you practice. I see what you work on in practice. I see how much you want them to do the work, and I see the results. So when you think about the playoffs, you know, we're 18 games away from the playoffs now. What's your mindset for the playoffs, Coach? Or is there a different mindset? Or is it just we need to keep playing our game?
Well, of course, the physicality goes up. Small things matter more. Like every block, every back check, because it might be that one goal. But all in all, we shouldn't have to change. If we do good things, we shouldn't have to change our game. It just maybe it elevates a little bit more. It just how the human nature goes when the playoffs start. But if you've done it the whole year, it's a lot easier to jump into that than if you wouldn't been doing it.
Yeah. Not sure if this is a really fair question to ask you, but I'm going to ask anyway. What would make this season a success for you?
Going to conference finals, for sure. We were second round. We want to go again 1 year ahead, jump one spot, and then anything can happen when you get to that point. But that's how I think of it.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to do something a little different now. On this card, I want to do a little word association with you. I'm going to give you a name of some of your players, maybe some thoughts, some things around town. Give me one word or one thought when you hear this, okay? Jackson Parsons.
Solid.
Matthew Andonovski.
Hard.
The Odd.
Great place.
Jack Pridham.
Fast.
That's exactly what I would say. Mike McKenzie.
Great GM.
Cameron Mercer.
Great PKer.
Jason Schaubel.
Goofball. No. Yeah, good kid. Good hard worker.
Carson Campbell.
Warrior.
London Knights.
I don't want to say that.
Pass. Cameron Reed.
All around.
Trent Swick.
Trent Swicky. So I would say he's a competitor.
Evan Hedrick.
Newcomer. Skill.
And the last one. Kitchener Rangers.
Great team.
I love it. One more thing before we go. I know we have some fun in our post-game interviews. I've tried to say things to you in Finnish, and I don't succeed. So I want you to teach me to say this week in Rangers Nation in Finnish. Do you think you could teach me how to say that?
No.
I'm not good enough to do it.
No.
Maybe you could say it.
Yeah.
How would you say this week in Rangers Nation in Finnish?
Tällä viikolla Rangers yhteisössä.
Yeah, you're right. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as always, Coach, thanks for taking time with us today. Really appreciate it, and we'll see you at the rink.
Thanks a lot.
We're going to take a quick break and be back with more. You're watching This Week in Rangers Nation.